Hello everyone, it's me here for the spring update. I don't usually like making these videos because they can get a little long in the tooth, but I figure it's necessary. I've got some good plans and also some big news, which I'll get out of the way right away here. So, the big news is I'll be flying down to Connecticut and then Pennsylvania bound to attend the 13th annual Pennsylvania PLOW Day. This is huge. I've been watching this event go on for the better part of 10 years, ever since I got involved in this hobby, and I've had some good friends, Hugh and Austin mainly, that I've known for almost the entire time I've been tractoring. And I'll be staying with Hugh and also with Austin. We'll all be going up to PLOW Day and be driving people's tractors and hopefully meeting all of you who attend there. I'm really excited and I can't wait. It's going to be terrific. It's just going to be nice to get involved with some people who are real kindred spirits and who share the passion that I have for this hobby, because it gets a little lonely up here in Alberta. There's not a lot of people fixing garden tractors, that's for sure. But yeah, in about 2.5 weeks that's happening, and I'm super excited about it. And so hopefully I'll see some of you guys there. One of the first actual projects I took on in the spring was the shop, because over time you just want to reinvent things and reorganize things, and that's what I've done here. I've pulled almost all of the tools out from the toolboxes and put them on 1/4-inch pegboard, because I work outside on the tractors, so to come inside and grab the most common tools that I need is going to be very advantageous. I've got the batteries down there in their little pile. I decided to make less table space in the shop and more shelf space for particular things. And with this shelf and this cabinet here, everything cleaned up quite nicely. This workbench is still a mess, but that's the last kind of work in progress. The extension cords used to be hanging up there on those 2 hooks, and they were really ugly. So I put them on the wall along with the jumper cables. That's going to work really well. I've got the bench grinder on its own stand now. Here are the toolboxes here. This is my engine stand, which currently is a storage space, but it's actually got provisions on there where I can bolt an engine and have the crankshaft running through the middle there. So I'm going to use it to test and get a lot of my spare engines running so I can sell them in running condition and make more money off of them that way. I've condensed my actual workspace here to a 3-foot library desk, and really all I use to use my workbench for is to rebuild carburetors anyway. So this is perfect. It's a good height. It allows me to get all my work done. And then we have a desk over here for any larger projects. And all in all, that allows more room for the tractors. Like, this whole area has really opened up, and that's nice. That's kind of what I was counting on anyway. Much less clutter around this center post, because I used to have the toolbox here and I used to have a bench on the other side, and none of that was really working. So with a revamp, this shop is going to be a great place to work this summer. So spring is usually an exercise in thinning. What stays and what goes and what I need and what I don't. And I'll start the area that's having the most thinning done to it. It's my Sears Suburban collection. So I haven't used a lot of my Sears tractors. The roper has been sitting under that tarp for 2 years. And my other GT 19.9, as I call it, Lundbreck, it's been sitting under a tarp too. I fired it up last year, but that was about it. So I want to use the stuff that I have and get rid of the stuff that I don't need. I stockpiled a bunch of parts from when my fleet was entirely composed of Sears Suburbans, thinking that I'd be using these tractors well into the future. Well, that is not the case anymore. They've been replaced. And so I've got my 3-point hitch implements under here, a collection of them, which I'll be keeping. There's a 48-inch mowing deck, which I might sell. There's a snowblower under there, that's for the roper. Over there, which I haven't put under a tarp, I'm kind of disappointed in myself for that, is a 3-point hitch spike arrow. There's my sickle mower, which I want to put on the roper this spring. Right now it's just got the tote box and 3-point hitch. I definitely want to use more of the roper and just have some fun with it because, well, I have it and I fixed it up, so why not? I've just got my parts SS16 back there. I have some parts here, an axle that I saved, some footboards that I don't need, a transaxle that I definitely don't need, I'll be selling. This is the bagging component for my 322 PowerFlow system, which I'll probably just sell and see what I can get for. I'm going to keep this transaxle around even though it looks ugly, because it's a hydrogear, hydrostatic transaxle, and if I find a tractor this spring for sale with a dead hydro, I'll just swap this one in and make some money. So another stretch goal that I have is to completely empty this shed. So nothing in it at the end. I'm kind of sick and tired of it. I have to duck my head whenever I come in the door. Right now, my head's touching the ceiling. So it's not an optimal shed for storage. You can see it's mostly taken up by Sears parts. I'm gonna hopefully sell all of them. I have grills, mule drives, 3-point hitch parts and stuff like that. The goal is to have one implement for each of the Sears tractors, so one snowblower, one mower, one 3-point hitch, and then a variety of 3-point hitch based implements, and everything else is superfluous. I don't need it. I gotta sell the pressure washer, the go-kart, this 44-inch Bercomac dual stage snowblower. I would have loved to put this on my 322, but sometime in between 2014 and 2015 when I inquired, they discontinued the subframe mount for 300 series John Deere garden tractors, so that pretty much killed that dream. Now I gotta sell it. And the rest of it, as you can see here, is just essentially mowing blades and parts for John Deere's. And that's all there is to it in this shed. Oh, Argo hubcaps. Back from when I was doing Argo stuff. If any of you want Argo hubcaps, let me know. I can ship these, sell them for a song. You don't really see any of those. But yeah, that's this shed. Hopefully it's not going to be here anymore in the summer. This is more of a garden shed than anything else. These two apple boxes have Sears 3-point hitches in them. They're packed and ready to ship. It cost me about $90 or so to ship them to the United States, and so give a little money on top of that. One of these two 3-point hitches could be yours. I've got a Tupperware full of Sears parts down here too that are all going to go. Every last one of them. Wiring, bits of trim and stuff like that that often don't come on certain tractors. They're taken off and lost over the years. Mule drive covers, battery tray covers, idler covers, the lot. So yeah, if any of you guys need those, hit me up. Just gas cans. That's a really nice Sears hood that I've kept that I'm probably going to put on Lundbreck sometime in the future. My supply of engines, just in case I have something that needs a swap on. I'm building an engine test stand this year, so hopefully I can do things, cool things, like get this old Wisconsin grain auger motor running. That's going to be nice. I've got my steel combi tools over here, the broom, tiller, and weed whipper. I have a KM55 and a KM110. Those things are fun to use. My supply of Never Go Bad Aspen fuel, make all my ethanol problems go away. And the trusty John Deere 14SB. Don't know if I've made a video on this. I trash picked it, completely free, rebuilt the carburetor. That's all it needed to get it running. And it's been a terrific mower, so I'm going to keep using it. That's pretty much this shed. This is probably going to be Snowblowerville come the spring. I've got pallets set up here. I'm going to put all of my snowblowers here and get them ready so that they're very easy to get at when I want to sell them next winter. Just kind of thinking ahead here, so I only have to move them once. In the meantime, some 300 series implements here, 49 snowblower, and a 50-inch mowing deck. Having some belt tension issues on that, but hopefully I can solve them. Got the 42-inch hydraulic rototiller that's going to come out of its hole. Hopefully I can make some money tilling some gardens this spring. And for the 425, I have its 54-inch mowing deck under this tarp. Hopefully I get to use that this summer here. And more John Deere stuff. This is the 47 blower. It's been taken off for the year because we're not going to get any more snow for the time being. Performed well, no complaints. I'm going to replace the needle bearing here in this shaft. It's got a bit of play in it, but that should be an easy job. Just a couple of snap rings. This other new style 47 blower spent the entire winter outside, so I'd like to buff it out and kind of restore the paint a little bit from the sun fade, and just keep that around, obviously, because it still comes in handy. And over here I've got this 450 tiller, which is still awaiting me to complete the transaxle PTO swap over from my parts 425 to my actual 425, if that happens. Hopefully I'll get to use it. Every year there are less and less parts on this John Deere 425, and hopefully I'll be able to actually get rid of what's left of the carcass this year, because I'll be taking the pedals off. I've already removed almost all the electronics, and in here the 3-point hitch and transaxle are coming out of the rear, and hopefully I'll be able to make that happen this year, pending some other things with the John Deere 425 that I'll go over in a bit. The 322 did me well and did not let me down the whole winter. Buying that snowblower and getting lucky on the deal that I got was just awesome. It was great to use this machine, even though it was super light on the back end with that massive thing out front. But more importantly, I finally, after what, 4 years of owning this tractor, have a 54-inch blade for the front. I had to pay for it, that's for sure, and it's only a 2-way blade at the moment. I sprung for the angling kit, which had cost me quite a lot, and also bought a aftermarket hydraulic cylinder. But once everything bolts together, I should have a usable blade tractor in the 322. All of this was kind of necessary. It cost me almost 800 Canadian dollars all in for the blade itself, which is in not bad condition even though the paint's worn, as well as the angling kit for the blade. It's necessary because the 425 is not working. Speaking of the 425, those of you who watched the blading video that I uploaded of it in the winter may have noted that I spoke of an ignition issue I was having at the time where it would run on one cylinder mostly and intermittently on two. And I was having a hard time tracking it down. I'd done some basic stuff like, hey, replace the spark plugs. I replaced one coil in the cylinder that was intermittently firing. That didn't make a difference. And so far, this has been the single most frustrating issue I've ever tackled. I can go into a lot more depth on an actual John Deere 425 video, but this thing won't fire at all now. It's completely out of commission. And I've replaced the time delay module, I've replaced both coils with used coils from my parts tractor, I've replaced the ignition module with a used ignition module, and I've replaced the connectors that go between the pulsers and the ignition module and the coils. So next I'm going to replace all the wiring, including the wiring that comes from the pulsers and wiring that goes to the coils, because that's the only part that I haven't really replaced yet. And then after that, I'll buy new coils or something. I've exhausted every known troubleshooting method online, in the service manual and everything, and this thing still isn't running. So eventually when I get it running, I know it's going to run for a while, and it's probably going to be pretty reliable since I've replaced darn near every component in the ignition system, but I kind of want a diesel. And so I'm actively looking now for a 455, just something that's heavier and that can take the power of the shaft-driven implements just a bit better. But yeah, this thing is frustrating beyond belief now, and hopefully I'll get it running. It's my main machine after all. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my little update here. Now you know what's going on with pretty well everything. And I'm going to go inside and warm up my fingers because it's still minus 15 degrees centigrade here with the wind chill. Coldest record temperatures ever recorded in history for this time of year. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys later, probably in Pennsylvania.